From the very beginning, President Trump, he promised to work for the American people. From the very beginning, all the liberals, they promised to take him down at every turn. I got to tell you, it is just bizarre. Here's what the president campaigned on. He says, I'm going to lift regulatory burdens that stifle the economic growth of America. I'm going to bolster job creation. I'm going to restore confidence in our national security. I'm going to preserve the integrity of the Supreme Court. And then he had a lot of other things as well. And he ended with this, I'm going to hold Washington accountable for everyday Americans. I like the part about draining the swamp, but you know, swamps are interesting. When you do take all the water out, you still have the alligators. They're still there. What do you do with them? Boomity boomity boom. Can't do that in Washington. You got to do something with them, or you got to retrain them. You got to try to do whatever you can do. President Trump has worked tirelessly for more than 100 days while being president, and tirelessly for many days before that. You know what? If you don't like him as a messenger, you do have to look at the message. The message isn't that bad. It's kind of good. You got to give him a chance. The liberal press, they just continue every day to beat him down. I mean, they're missing all the good things that he's doing. It's about the bureaucrats, right? I mean, effectively, they run the nation. He's fired thousands of them. The press doesn't talk about that. I mean, why not? Trump said he would do that. He said, I'm going to get rid of red tape. I'm going to make it easier. And they ignore that. They still attack him with his hair and with his this and with his that and girls and blah, blah, blah. What about the job is he, that he's actually doing? Is it a good job? Many do think that. The House majority now has repealed that disastrous train wreck known as Obamacare. And, that's kind of good as well. Congress now will no longer be exempt from healthcare laws, because they used to have that free ride on the train, which was a wreck anyway, as I've already said, and now they have the same laws as we the people. But the real fight now starts, because that fake press, that liberal whack news that I've referred to already, they're now going to come into play and tell everybody the reasons that they're making up as they go along, why this is a bad thing, because why Trump was a bad guy. Ho, ho, ho. How do you fix stupid? I don't know if you ever can. Now, speaking of the healthcare, Obamacare, and so on, the former President Obama, he recently gave a speech on healthcare, and the Healthcare Commission, they paid him as a conference, and they paid him $400,000, right? He used to make that much as president when supposedly he worked every day. And here he worked a couple hours and he got 400 grand. That's probably coming to them to give to him by some government grant anyway. Who would know that? You got to follow the money, hey. But how crazy is that? And so now you have the majority house saying, hey, let's review this, and rightfully so. They're saying, let's review the pension. U.S. presidents get $200,000 a year, but it's kind of like being on welfare. If you're on welfare and you have a job and you make a bunch of money, your welfare gets reduced to effectively nothing, if in fact you make enough. And they're now saying we're going to make that a law. I hope they do. That would be great, because you shouldn't get paid by the people when you're able to support yourself. I get the part about being, a former president, having security and having pensions. That's okay, but not when you go out and do stuff like this. So dust off that old baby, and that old baby being the Presidential Allowance Modernization Act. Get the dust off it. In Canada, the defense minister there recently was found out for claiming that he was a war hero in Afghanistan, Pakistan, maybe. Kind of forget which place it was, but in any event, he said, I'm a hero, and people bought into that. And now there's this big surprise in Ottawa, Canada, about how could he do that? That is so simple. He's a liberal. What do you think? Good grief. You all come back here tomorrow. You have to expect stuff like that. You know what? I got a lot of adjectives I could use, but I'll keep them to myself. Y'all come back here tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.